Today we are going to discuss triangle law of forces, resolution of a force, orthogonal component, non-orthogonal components and principle of resolution. Based on that, whatever fundamental terms related to force that we discussed in our previous lecture. So now whenever our theory part is perfect or our concepts are very clear, so based on our theory we can easily understand the figure. Vice versa, if we'll go with the figures and we will understand figure very nicely, so as per that we can easily write our theory. So we try to compare our figures and our theory with each other to understand the triangle of forces. So focus on the theory. If two forces acting at a point be represented in magnitude and direction by two sides of a triangle taken in order. Two forces acting at a point, okay, represented in magnitude and direction by two sides of a triangle taken in order. The resultant may be represented in magnitude and direction by third side of triangle taken in opposite order. So you can see that two forces are there. So as per whatever definition is here, whatever theory is here, as per that if you will compare, then you can see that OP is here, your force is here in that direction, okay. Then your force OQ that we transmitted over here, okay, means whatever the direction that we maintain, but whatever OP is here that we mention over here, whatever OQ direction that we taken over here, and the that two forces having resultant, okay. So you can see the resultant R over here for that both the forces. So with that OB component, okay, with that OB component, with OA component, there is a alpha angle. Here you can see beta, and here wherever you that red pointer is here, so here you can see that theta. So as per that you can see that whatever two forces were given and whatever the resultant produced, so based on that we can say if two forces acting at a point be represented in magnitude and direction by two sides of a triangle taken in order, the resultant may be represented in magnitude and direction by the third side of triangle taken in opposite, okay. So if we'll go for the proof, so whatever figure were there, so as per that, let two forces P and Q acting simultaneously on a particle at point O as shown in figure. Whatever written over here, you can see in figure two forces P and Q are there. That forces acting simultaneously on a particle at point O, there is a theta, okay. As per triangle law of forces, these two forces can be drawn as two sides of a triangle taken in order, then the resultant R is represented by third side OB of the triangle taken in opposite order, okay. So it will be like OB, don't consider as a BO, it is OB only as per the theory concept. So as per the trigonometry, as per cosine formula, OB square is equal to OA square plus AB square minus 2 OA AB cos beta. Okay. We know this is the fundamental of mathematics. Okay. And we applied cosine formula over here for the figure, and as per that we achieved OB square is equal to OA square plus AB square minus 2A or 2OA into AB into cos beta. This is your equation number 1. Where beta is equal to 180 degree minus theta. How can you see like that? You just observe the figure. This is line is there. So definitely if we'll consider over here any line, so you can see that here your theta for that portion it will be 180. Okay. So you have to find beta. So 180 minus theta. So as per that, beta is equal to 180 minus theta. From the figure, you can see OA is equal to P. Okay, here you can see OA is equal to P, right? AB is equal to Q and OB is equal to R. So from equation number 1, what we will do simple, whatever O is there, AB is there, OB is there, we just put the PQR in place of OA, AB and OB respectively. So from that equation number 1, we will consider in place of OB R. So R square is equal to P square plus Q square minus 2PQ cos beta. Please don't get confused. We considered OAP, ABQ, OBR. As per that, we put in that equation number 1 and we got RA square is equal to P square plus Q square minus 2PQ cos beta. So if we need only R, if we need only resultant R, then what will be that? We have to apply under root over here. Okay. So R is equal to in under root P square plus Q square minus 2PQ cos beta. Then what we have to do? The direction of resultant can be found out by sine rule as follows. So again trigonometry, simple trigonometry, it is a simple mathematics. OB upon sine beta is equal to AB upon sine alpha. R upon sine beta is equal to Q upon sine alpha. Therefore, sine alpha is equal to Q by R sine beta, we can simple say. So therefore, alpha will be sine inverse multiply Q by R sine beta. This is nothing but simple simplification, simple trigonometry, simple mathematics. Okay. So here also again don't get confused and try to understand. So whatever theory and whatever basic concepts we have seen, as per that similar type of problem we will solve. So based on that, if such problem will ask in your examination, so you are able to solve the problems, or if you will refer your previous paper and such type of problems will be there, so you can easily solve and you get the confidence that yes, based on the lecture, based on the theory, based on the problem calculations, you are able to solve many problems and that will be helpful to you to enhance your subject knowledge. So here we are reading the data. Two tensile force of 20 kilonewton and 30 kilonewton are acting at a point with an angle of 60 degree between them. Find the magnitude and direction of the resultant force. Okay. So dear students, whenever in examination, in your physical class or maybe in your any online classes, there is a calculative part is there, any problem is there, any sum is there. So you have to read your data first properly. Why? Because we have to identify what data is given actually and what we have to find. Because sometimes some data are based on some other quantities, some other terms, so we have to understand that which type of data is given and based on that what we have to find. So we will try to understand that two tensile forces. So we are seeing the two tensile forces of 20 kilonewton and 30 kilonewton acting at a point with an angle of 60, so 60 degrees there. Okay, now we have to find the magnitude and direction of the resultant force. So from that image you can understand and you can remember your previous theory. Just simple such type of things were there we discussed. Okay, in that case what was there, whatever that P force was there, that was here only, that Q force we apply over here and based on that both the forces the resultant were over here. Okay, so here two tensile forces is there, theta is there. So as per that we have that figure here, theta is there, beta is there, alpha is there. So what we'll do, P is equal to 20 kilonewton, Q is equal to 30 kilonewton, theta 60 is given. So what will be beta? If you will see over here, This is the line. So simple, that will be 180 degree. Okay. So 180 degree minus theta means it is beta. So beta will be 180 minus 60 is equal to 120. So it is very simple. Then we have to go for the resultant. We know the equation of resultant. R is equal to in under root p square plus q square minus 2pq cos beta. We have the value of p 20. We have the value of q 30. Okay. We have the value of beta also. We have value of p and q. So whatever value we have regarding the p, q and beta, that we simple put in that equation and we will get in under root 20 square plus 30 square minus 2 into 20 into 30 into cos 120. If you will simplify that in your simple mathematical calculation, then R will be, your resultant R will be in under root 1900. Okay. So again you will do simple calculation, calculation in your calci, then R will be 43.58 kilonewton. Okay, you can check in your calculator also. So again here, as per trigonometry, as per simple mathematics, as per sine rule, R upon sine beta is equal to 30 upon sine alpha. So what is your R? 43.58. Beta, you know. You don't know about the alpha. So 43.58 divided by sine 120 degree is equal to 30 divided by sine alpha. So we put the value of sine 120.866 and sine alpha as it is. So what we will do? We will do cross multiplication, then we try to do simplification. So here sine alpha will be there. Okay. So sine alpha, after the simplifying that, sine alpha will be 0.596. So alpha will be sine inverse 0.596. Okay. So if you'll go for the simplification in calculator, then alpha will be 36.58 degree. Okay. So in that case, whatever we have to find, that we have already calculated. Now we have go for another one more example. So here you focus. Two forces P and Q are acting at a point O as shown in figure. Determine magnitude and direction of the resultant using triangle law of forces. Okay. So here, as per our previous discussion, we have to focus what is given and what we have to find. Okay. Two forces P and Q are acting at point O as shown in figure. Determine magnitude and direction of resultant using triangle law of forces. Okay. So as per figure means in that cases, in figure forces are given. Okay. Here force P is given 150 kilonewton. Force Q is given 80 kilonewton. Angles are already given here with y-axis. Here 45 degree angle, here 30 degree angle. Okay. So we will identify what data is given. So as per that, P is equal to 150 kilonewton, Q is equal to 80 kilonewton, and theta is equal to 30 plus 45 degree is equal to 75 degree. And what will be beta? That 180 minus theta. So 180 minus 75. So beta will be 105 degree. Now what we have to do? We have to go for resolution, right? So your resultant R means we have to go for the resultant. So your resultant R will be as per the equation in under root p square plus q square minus 2pq cos beta. Okay. We have the value of p, we have the value of q, we have the value of beta. Okay. So what we did here, 150 square plus 80 square minus 2 into 150 into 80 into cos 105. If we'll do simplification of that in simple calculator, then your resultant will be 187.38 kilonewton. Again we have to go for sine rule. So using sine rule, we can say that R upon sine beta is equal to Q upon sine alpha. So we will put the value of R over here. 187.38 divided by sine 105 degree is equal to 80 upon sine alpha. Therefore, sine alpha is equal to 0.412. So if we have to find alpha, then alpha is equal to sine inverse 0.412, and we will finally get alpha is equal to 24.33 degree. So we have find it out resultant as well, alpha, very easily. Now we have to understand what is a resolution of force. So the process of splitting up the given force into two or more components in particular direction without changing effect on the body is called resolution of a force. There are two type of component, orthogonal component and non-orthogonal component. Okay. So, if we discuss about the orthogonal component, then try to focus over here the component which are perpendicular to each other, or the component which make 90 degree with each other are known as orthogonal components. Generally, a given force is split up into two mutually perpendicular components. One is horizontal component and second one is vertical component, that we all know means x component and y component. So here you can see and here you can understand from the figure, this is x axis, this is y axis. In all the ABCD is given, in all that four figures you can understand that here point O is there, both the axes are given. Here there is a theta with x axis. Okay, here there is a force P. So wherever that theta make the angle with the x axis, so there will be the component cos, and remaining that vertical component will be sine. Okay, so here you can clearly see all the theta with making angle with x axis. Just try to observe here x axis, theta with x axis only. Here you can see same thing, here also you can see same thing, here similar thing is there. So in that case, whatever your force in whatever direction, that your cos component will be in that direction. Okay, means on x axis. So here you can say that your p cos theta, here p sin theta. In second case you can see your p sin theta over here, your p cos theta in that direction. In third case your p cos theta you can observe your p sin theta, same way your theta with x axis. So here your p cos theta will be there and your that component will be p sin theta. So we have to remember that the angle which are making with the x axis, then that will be the cos component, and remaining that vertical component will be sine. Okay, so it is also very simple, easy to understand. So if we'll go for the non-orthogonal component, then the component those are not perpendicular to each other are known as non-orthogonal component. The components make either obtuse theta greater than 90 degree or make acute angle theta less than 90 degree. Non-orthogonal components can be calculated law of parallelogram of forces or triangle law of forces. So if we will use law of parallelogram, then using parallelogram law of forces, your resultant R will be in under root p square plus q square plus 2p cos theta, that we already discussed in our previous lectures. And your tan alpha will be q sin theta upon p plus q cos theta, that already we discussed in our previous lecture. So here you can see that in that case theta will be angle between p and q, and alpha will be angle between P and R. Now using triangle law of forces, the R will be in under root P square plus Q square minus 2PQ cos beta, and alpha will be sine inverse in bracket Q upon R sine beta bracket over, where beta will be 180 minus theta and alpha will be angle between P and R. So it is also simple basic concepts. Now we have to go for the principle of resolution. So in that case, you can see that figure. Directly I will not catch you with that figure, but I will go through the theory so you can try to match each other and understand easily. So just focus on that. The algebraic sum of the resolved part of a number of forces in a given direction is equal to the resolved part of the resultant in the same direction. Consider two forces P and Q which are represented in magnitude and direction by two adjacent sides OA and OB of a parallelogram OACB as shown in this figure. R is the resultant of PQ, will be represented in magnitude and direction by diagonal of OC. You can see over here of the parallelogram. Let OX be the direction in which the forces are resolved. Okay. So now what we have to do? We have to draw AL, then CN and BM. Please focus. After that, what we have to do? We have to draw AL, then CN and BM perpendiculars from the point A, C and B on line OX. Also draw perpendicular T from A on CN from two triangles OMB, and here you can see OMB, and here you can see ATC. So from this both the triangle OB is equal to AC, and that figure I carry forwarded over here so you can easily understand. OB is equal to AC and OM is equal to AT is equal to LN. So ON is equal to OL minus LN. So you can say like that, from that OL plus OM. Why? Because we know that OB is equal to AC and OM is equal to AT is equal to LN. So ON will be OL plus LN. So in place of LN, OM will be there. So ON is equal to OL plus OM. This is nothing but simple from that figure we have pulled. So resolved part of R along OX, resolved part of P along OX plus resolved part of X along OX. Using principle of resolution, effect of number of forces acting in direction can be found in one particular direction. Here you see that resolved part of R along X is equal to, here just focus, resolved part of R along X is equal to resolved part of P along X plus resolved part of Q along X. So using principle of resolution, effect of number of forces acting in different directions can be found in one particular direction. So based on that, we will go for one problem. Here you can see, resolve 100 Newton force parallel and perpendicular to axis mm as shown in figure. That figure is given. Here mm is there, angle is given, theta is there, alpha is there. Here as per that figure we have to go for tan theta. So what will be that? 4 by 3. Okay, as per the figure. tan theta is equal to 4 by 3 is equal to 1.333. So theta is equal to tan inverse 1.333. So theta will be 53.13 degree and alpha will be 180 minus that 53.13 minus 45. So you can get alpha 81.87 degree. Now if we'll go for the component parallel to MM, then what will be that? 100 cos alpha. Okay. So 100 cos 81.87 is equal to 14.14 Newton. And component perpendicular to MM, if we'll go for that, then 100 sine alpha, then 100 sine 81.87 will be 98.99 Newton. Okay. Now we will go with another problem. Resolve 100 Newton force shown in figure along orthogonal axis XS and YY, then non-orthogonal axis AA and BB. Here you can see XX, YY, AA, BB. So what will be the solution? We just simplify that figure over here. As per that, we taken that 100 cos 30, 100 sin 30, our 100 Newton force is there, 30 degree angle is there. So simplify one that force and one component we have mentioned over here. So resolve 100 Newton force along orthogonal axis XX and YY. So component along XX will be 100 cos 30. That will be 86.60 Newton. Okay. Horizontal. Component along YY 100 sin 30. That will be 50 Newton. Upward vertical. Okay. Resolve 100 Newton force along non-orthogonal axis A and BB. Then you can see using sine rule, P upon sine 160 is equal to Q upon sine 130 is equal to 100 upon sine 70. So what will be the P? P is equal to 100 sine 160 upon sine 70. So simplifying that, P will be 36.4 Newton and Q will be 100 sine 130 upon sine 70. So Q will be 81.5 Newton. Now, there is a theory of resolution of more than two concurrent forces. So, in that case, you can see there are so many forces P1, P2, P3, P4 as per that theta are there, theta 1, theta 2, theta 3, theta 4. So consider P1, P2, P3, P4 etc. are acting at a point shown in figure. Summation H will be algebraic sum of all the horizontal forces. Summation of V sigma V is equal to algebraic sum of vertical forces and R will be resultant of all forces. In that case, R will be in under root summation of H square means sigma H square plus summation of V vertical forces means sigma V square and tan theta will be sigma V upon sigma H in mode and theta will be angle of resultant with horizontal. So here you can see that first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant and sign are given. So if you can't understand from that figure, then you just try to focus if all the horizontal forces will be positive, all the vertical forces will be positive, then your resultant will be in the first quadrant. Okay, means all horizontal forces or vertical forces will be positive, then resultant R will be in first quadrant. If horizontal force is in negative and your vertical forces will be positive, means summation of all horizontal force in negative, summation of all vertical force in positive, then R will be in your second quadrant. If summation of H means all horizontal force will be negative and vertical force also negative, means summation of all vertical force also negative, then your R will be in third quadrant. And if your summation of horizontal forces will be positive, but summation of vertical forces will be negative, then R will be in fourth quadrant. Now, if we'll go for the condition of equilibrium of coplanar concurrent forces, then a system of coplanar concurrent forces is seen to be in equilibrium if following conditions are satisfied. So what are the conditions? Conditions are summation of H is equal to 0, means sigma H is equal to 0, means algebraic sum of all the horizontal forces must be 0. Same way, sigma V is equal to 0, means algebraic sum of all the vertical forces must be 0. Therefore, sigma H is equal to 0 and sigma V is equal to 0, and resultant R must be 0. So, as per that discussion, we will go with the example. Determine magnitude and direction of resultant force of the force system shown in figure below. So, that figure is given, and as per the figure, we have to determine magnitude and direction of resultant force. So, as per the figure, we have to consider tan theta. So, tan theta will be 12 upon 5. Okay, just a simple trigonometry we apply. So tan theta is equal to 12 upon 5, so that will be 2.4. So theta will be tan inverse 2.4, so theta will be 67.38 degree. Now what we have to do? Just simple summation of H, sigma H, means we have to do addition of all the horizontal forces. So we have to take first 50, it is on that line, means there is no angle, so 50 cos 0 plus 100 cos 60 plus 120 cos 90 plus 130 cos 112.62. So that is the question how we got. So here for simplification I mention that is your 180 degree angle. Okay, so 180 minus your theta means 67.38, that will be 112.62. Okay, plus 100 cos 30. So here also from that 360 your 60 will be minus, so that will be 300, so 100 cos 300. So by resolving that, means by doing the simplification, we'll get 50 plus 50 plus 0 minus 50 plus 50, so that will be 100 Newton. It is positive, so all the horizontal forces are positive. Okay, so we got sigma H is equal to 100 Newton. Now we have to do summation of all the vertical forces. Okay, so here summation of V, or we can say summation of all the vertical forces: 50 sine 0, 100 sine 60, 120 sine 90, 130 sine 112.62 degree plus 100 sine 300 degree. So by simplifying that, we will get 240 Newton positive. So horizontal forces are positive, vertical forces are positive. So your resultant R will be in under root sigma H square plus sigma V square, means summation of all horizontal forces square and summation of all vertical forces square. So sigma H is 100, sigma V is 240. So R is equal to in under root 100 square plus 240 square. So that will be 260 Newton for R resultant. And here tan theta will be in mode sigma V upon sigma H. So 240 upon 100, that will be 2.40, simple. So theta will be tan inverse 2.40, so theta is equal to 67.38. Sigma H is positive, sigma V positive, therefore R will be in the first quadrant, that we already discussed. Now we'll go for another problem. Find resultant of force system shown in figure. So simple, we have to do the addition of all the horizontal forces, then addition of all vertical forces. So sigma h is equal to 8 cos 0 plus 10 cos 60 plus 7 cos 90 plus 5 cos 120. So here question how 120? So 180, that 180 plus 30. So this is 210. Therefore, if we simplify that, then sigma h will be 8 plus 5 plus 0 minus 4.33. The 80 kilonewton push force is converted into pull force. So your summation of h means sigma h will be 8.67 kilonewton horizontal positive. Now summation of vertical force means we can say that sigma v. So that will be 8 sine 0, 10 sine 60 plus 7 sine 90 plus 5 sine 210 degree as per that simple figure. So your summation of V sigma V will be 13.16 kilonewton vertical force, summation of all vertical force, and that is positive. Now we have to go for resultant. We know the equation in under root sigma h square plus sigma v square. We have the value of sigma h 8.67. We have value of sigma v 13.16. So in under root 8.16 square plus 13.16 square. So resultant R will be 15.76 kilonewton. And your tan theta will be in mode sigma v upon sigma h. So 13.16 upon 8.67 is equal to 1.517. So theta will be tan inverse 1.517. So theta is equal to 56.60 degree. Sigma h positive, sigma v positive. So we know that R will be in the first quadrant. So dear students, I Dr. Damayanti Chibadka here concluding my lecture for today. From the basic fundamentals of previous lecture and today's lecture, we have solved many problems to find resultant, to find different angle, to resolve many forces. So based on that lecture, now you are able to understand many basic concepts as well as you can calculate many problems that will be useful to you in your end semester examination as well your subject preparation. So today we are completing our lecture. In next lecture I will come with new topics. Till that, stay safe, take care, study well, and all the very best. Thank you.